Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel Mr. Footballoons, and today we are doing the Barclays Premier League Week 8 predictions. We're going to start on the 16th of October, Watford versus Liverpool, 4-1 to Liverpool. The Liverpool got an insane side, Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah obviously as their wingers. They've got a built-up side that could easily win the title. I don't think they will, but they definitely can win against Watford. Obviously, Watford losing 1-0 against Leeds, and Liverpool drawing 2-2, which in my opinion is winning a point, not losing 2 points, as some people like to say. But there's no chance Watford could get a point. I don't think it's one of those miracle days for them. They're going to lose, even with a decent start. I'm sticking with that. Let's move on to the next fixture, which is going to be Southampton versus Leeds United, 1-1. Leeds have a really good squad, a really good manager, but I don't think it's enough to win this. Southampton seems to be drawing against a lot of clubs, and they haven't had the greatest of starts. Obviously, picking up the first 3 points, as we just said just a minute ago, against Watford, which is very good. Watford had a decent start, and it could have easily been a draw, maybe a loss. I wouldn't have thought so, but they seem like a solid club. Don't see them losing this. In fact, they could easily win it. Southampton, on the other hand, they lost 3-1 against Chelsea. They've had 4 draws. And in those 4 games, they probably could have got a couple of wins in them. But I think Southampton are going to be that team that always draws against everyone in the Prem and going to just about stay up with that most probably. Moving on to the next game, Norwich City versus Brighton. 1-0 to Brighton. Reason for this is because Norwich City ain't the best club. Everyone can admit that. I don't think they're going to get a win. They're definitely going to get a win someday. At least I hope. I hope they don't just only have 1 point at the end of the season. But it could happen. Hardly doubt it. Obviously, they got a 0-0 draw with Burnley, which could say is a plus. Their first point is a good start. But Burnley aren't the best of sides. Brighton's 0-0 draw was probably better than Norwich City's 0-0 draw. And Brighton have had an incredible start. I don't see them losing their start here against Norwich. Moving on, Aston Villa versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves are away. I'm going to say 2-1 to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, Wolves did get a good win against Newcastle United. Wolves do have a good squad. You know, they've got Jimenez, Adama Traore, Podence. They've got a good squad side and quite a fast side, you know, especially with that Adama Traore. And the squad is good. They're wealthy, so they're probably not going to get relegated. The first 3 games obviously a loss, but they weren't like terrible losses. They actually had a chance in each individual game there. I think they will be able to get the win because Aston Villa did lose against Spurs and that wasn't very good. Aston Villa, they are a good side. I think they will do well. Obviously, they did manage to get a win against Manchester United as well. But I think Wolves will be able to pick it up. I think they're on positive format after loads of losses and I think they'll keep on going. But I still don't think they'll get top 10. But I think this is going to be their streak of winnings. Let's move on. Leicester City versus Manchester United. 3-1 to Manchester United. It's going to be a really easy game for Manchester United. Definitely after Leicester drawing 2 against Crystal Palace and Crystal Palace having times 2 the shots they had. They've been absolute crap. I don't know what's going on. Haven't been watching the games. But they're not obviously doing well because they're all over the place. For that club, they're not doing well. They want to be trying hitting Champions League, but it's not a good start to hit Champions League. I think they'll still get top 6. But don't think they're going to be hitting Champions League at all. Nowhere near to those top 4 clubs. Man United, on the other hand, they've got an amazing squad. Did only draw 1-1 against Everton. But that's only a bit of a blip. Doesn't really matter. Obviously, I believe I heard that Ronaldo didn't start for some reason. I have no clue why. But Man United are too good for Leicester. And Leicester have been on crap form. So, there we go. Moving on, Manchester City versus Burnley. I'm going to say 3-1 Man City. Burnley aren't the best of sides. They've got an old squad. Sean Dyche in charge. Sean Dyche is good, but not enough to get a win against Man City. Obviously, Man City we've already talked about, got a 2-2 draw against Liverpool. But it's easy for Man City, just set. They've got too bit of a squad. Burnley too old. 3-0. Moving on, Brentford versus Chelsea. Now, I'm going to say 2-2 on this one. It's going to be an interesting draw. Chelsea on very good form. I believe they're top of the league, especially after their form. Got a good win against Southampton. But Brentford are also on good form with a win against West Ham away, especially the first time in Premier League, which is absolute crazy. I'm really happy for them, even though I've no clue at anything about the club. But they're looking like a good, bright team. But in my opinion, this is only a bit of a boost at the start of the season. I think they'll drop down to like 16th, 14th. But I still think they'll be able to pick up points like this against Chelsea, especially after the form they've done. That's very good from Brentford. And I just think it looks like a 2-2 draw bounding to happen. They score a lot of goals. Chelsea score a lot of goals. So why not? 2-2. Let's move on to a whole new day. 17th of October. Everton taking on West Ham. 2-0 Everton. I think it'll be pretty easy for Everton. I know West Ham do have a good side. They did lose Jesse Lingard because they did not loan him for another season or get him on a permanent. That's probably not the reason, or at least a bit to the reason. They haven't had the greatest of starts. I still think they'll do well this season. I don't think they're going to be in a relegation battle. I think they finished in 11th this season. But I can't see him winning against Everton. They managed to get a really good draw against Manchester United in quite a close game. But Everton, it's going to be their chance. They always have good starts, and this is still at the start of the season. I think they've got an absolute storm through this one, and they've had a very good start as well. Moving on, my team Newcastle United versus Tottenham Hotspur, 2-1 to Spurs. Now, Newcastle are home. They still have Steve Bruce in charge, confirmed for this game. The Saudis are in charge, but obviously it's not going to make a difference because they're not allowed to sign anyone until January, after that's the rules. I believe they are allowed to sign £190 million worth of players. They're now the richest club, and they're my favourite. But it's not all going to turn in a night. I still think Spurs will be able to beat them. Could it possibly be a draw? Yes. Could Newcastle win? No. No chance of it. Newcastle have been terrible. I think they will be winning at half-time 1-0. In the second half, like usual, they get absolute slaughtered by Spurs. And also, Callum Wilson is returning. And also, it's 1,000th appearance for Steve Bruce as a manager. So that's amazing. But Spurs, they got a win against Aston Villa. They're on good form. In my opinion, they're still a good club, even with the 3-loss streak and losing 3-1 to their rivals Arsenal. I still think they're better than Newcastle, after Newcastle don't really have the best side. Moving on, 18th of October, the last day on my predictions. Arsenal taking on Crystal Palace. I'm going to say 3-2 to Arsenal. Now, I think it's going to be high scoring because Crystal Palace have had high scoring games, possibly one of the best transfer windows for them in their position. They're definitely staying up after that transfer window. They've got a good side. They seem to be picking up good points, especially against Leicester, even though Leicester are on a bit faulty form. But that's a good point. I believe they did also draw 3-0 against Liverpool. I think it was done. Probably, I don't know. But Arsenal, they got a 3-1 win against Spurs. That's really good. They got a draw against Brighton. To be fair, you could say that is a positive after Brighton have got a really good start and they have that bigger momentum. But Crystal Palace, I don't see them winning against Arsenal. Arsenal's going to have this burst, and I think they're better than Crystal Palace. So that is going to end my video. So hopefully you can like and subscribe. And always remember to turn on notifications and never miss one of my fantastic YouTube videos. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.